Hey everyone, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're having a great evening. Just wanted to talk about a subject. I'm on my HOA, my Homeowners Association Board of Directors. And the only reason I got back on the board, I was on the board initially when I first moved here. And that was a long time ago. And I had been on the board for a long time. I was actually setting records. Now, mind you, I'm not a typical homeowners association board member at all. The reason I got on the board the first time is because they weren't spending the money, what they're allocating and updating our property to make it look modern and new and fresh. And I got off the board because I just felt like I wasn't contributing enough, and the board was run pretty smoothly. Well, I had a couple problems in my association that I tried to deal with the property manager as a homeowner. And it wasn't going very well. And it should have taken a lot less time than what it did. And the problem is still not solved. But that's why I got on the board last year. And it was interesting because I felt like they didn't really want me to be on the board again. And they thought, because they're going to lose control. Mind you, they didn't have any control at all. And there's a lot of things that are going on that we're going to have to address. And that's why I got on the board. So I filled out my candidacy statement. There's a fly flying around in here. I don't know if you guys see it. And submitted it last year to be on the board. So anyway, I even typed it up so that it would be a typed up version. But they submitted the written version. And they did a photocopy of it and put it as my candidacy statement. They did it to two other people. This fly is going to drive me nuts. But anyway, so I let it go. Didn't make a big deal about this. And when it came time around the election time, I ended up having the most votes. Now, mind you, there were 6 people running, but there were 5 incumbents. So they thought that and they did some illegal stunts to try to get that one guy on there, which I actually really liked him, and he ended up passing away late last year. Very sad deal, very good guy. And we really meshed really well, and we were going to get this team going, and we're going to get a lot of changes, and then he passed away, 55 years old. Very sad. But I digress on that. I mean, that's not the point. It was like, oh, shit. And I just thought, I got to keep fighting, because if I'm going to live here, I want to make sure that our association dues don't go skyrocketing. They're high enough as it is right now. And so I continued on. But backing up to that election last year, they submitted that thing. And I mean, it was horrible. You should have seen it. You should have seen it. It was faded. You couldn't even hardly read it. It was my handwriting, and I printed it, and I should have probably wrote it in cursive, because I know cursive. I'm old enough to, I know how to read cursive. I know how to write cursive. A lot of people don't, and they don't even require it. It was required when we were in school. But so anyway, so the votes came in, and I outvoted the president last year. And she told everybody that I went door to door. Well, I didn't go door to door. I didn't go door to door. I didn't go door to door talking to people. I just put my name on there because I had been on there before, and I ran I'm not a police officer. I'm not one of those people that needs to be insecure, or that I need to be secure to be on the board. And the association's not my life. It's just, I live here, and I'm part of it because I paid dues to them. So that was interesting that I voted out her, and I had the most votes of anybody. Mind you, most of these board members had been on the board for the last 10 years. So, and that's one of the persons that I wanted to get off the board. So fast forward, this guy dies, we have to replace him, and then another board member resigned. And so come January, they decided that the 2 people that were on the board previously were going to come back on the board, which it didn't really work, because I had somebody that wanted to be on the board and wanted to make changes and help out with it, and a guy that's lived here for a long time. So we got him, and the other person on the board. So we have elections again. I send them a typed thing. I make sure that the property manager got it, my candidacy statement, and guess what? My last year ones that wasn't updated, the same one that they tried to use the last year, they used it. And the one person wrote out her thing. It was a whole page, and you shouldn't be able to write a whole page. She thought she was just going to get the most votes. So anyway, we had the meeting last night. They counted the votes, had inspector election come in and count the votes, and guess what? I had the most votes again. And she had the second least votes. So anyway, I've been reelected, but it's just interesting how people that are on boards, there's a certain kind of craziness that gets on the board. I'm only on there to straighten things up, to get things working again, and to have processes and to make sure that our dues don't go up, and to make sure our vendors are doing the right job and they're charging us the right price. And that's the only reason I'm on. And it is funny because they, one of the guys appointed me, or said I think that I should be the president, which I'm sure that didn't make the one woman that wanted to be the president, which she doesn't do anything. These people they want to have all this power, and they don't want to do any work, and they don't do any work. And that's part of the issue why things have fallen through the cracks and things haven't been followed, because they're letting the property manager run it. So anyway, that changed last night, and I'm sure the property manager's not really happy about this whole situation, but I feel better about the situation, and we're going to be making some changes, and we're going to be doing it the right way. We're not going to listen to him, and he's not going to be in control of stuff. He's there to guide us and do stuff that we have to do, and do what I call clerical work, paperwork. So anyway, that's what's happening with me, and we'll see. I think there's going to be some changes, it's interesting how last night's meeting I had solutions, and I brought up a lot of different things that were not going the right way, and they asked me how we should fix them, and I gave them a solution. When you're hitting somebody in the face, because we do this in Zoom, I think, as you know, when you tell somebody, when they ask you a question, you tell them the solution, and then they're silent, they realize that, I guess they maybe have thought, because I've been with these two of the people at least on previous boards way back when, and I think they forgot that I was a leader, and I've always been a leader. I'm not a follower. I do my job, and I do extra stuff to make sure that everything's done right by the law, by our CC&Rs and all that other stuff, and people don't understand that. I'm not here to cause problems. I don't want to be on the board. I really don't. But if I have to come on to make sure things are done right and be on the board and make sure that we're doing everything right so our dues don't go way up because we're not saving the right money for certain replacements, things that we need to do, and fix things and maintain things the right way, then so be it. I'll be on it. I was stressing out a little bit about it, and I brought my emotions into it, which I normally never do that kind of stuff with this. I never usually bring emotions into a lot of different things because I was really it just seemed like that they didn't want me to be on the board, and they were going to try to do all this stuff, and it didn't work. It backfired. So, and I prayed about it, and I said, God, if I'm not supposed to be on here, I know you're going to do something. And that's basically the way I look at it. I had faith in God, and if it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. And it did. So we're good to go. But it's just interesting how there's a certain kind of person that has to be on the board of directors, and HOA people are like used car salesmen. There are some good HOA board members, and there's also some good used car salesmen, but when you're a bad used car salesman, you're usually a bad HOA person. And I'm not saying that these people are used car salesmen. I'm just saying that, that's the comparison that I have. So anyway, let me know in the comments how you feel about HOA members, and if you've been one, and if there's, an interesting thing that's going on out there. So let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.